This isn't a review, but my weekly planner dashboard has become a part of how I practice self care, which really isn't something I was expecting. I started out using simple planner filler paper, but I realized I wanted something with just a little bit more structure. So I transitioned to a weekly planner dashboard. And now I find myself using this every day. But somewhere along the way, this stopped being a planning tool and it became my regular reminder for my self care. And so when we talk about self care, I've said this before, usually we think about facials and massages and expensive skincare, vacations, but simple things like breathing and rest and quiet time are also self care. And so, what surprised me about this whole process is how, when I plan that self care, it actually shows up in my life. I didn't see it coming that way. Every Sunday, I generally sit down and I make my plans for the week using the weekly planner dashboard. Now, some Sundays are full, they're busy, and I just don't get around to it. But on Monday, I get to it and I make my plans for the week. At first, when I started using this planner, I was just planning my routines, my bills, my work, my household responsibilities, my phone calls, things like that. But then at some point, I started to add things that were important to me personally, which is how I began to add the self care to my planner. And adding it to my planner made it not something that I might do, but it became a part of my daily life. I calendar it just like I do everything else. And so what changed for me was seeing self-care written down in the morning and in the afternoon. And so when I review my planner, which I do several times a day, it really reminds me that self-care isn't optional. It's something that I've made space for in my life, just like I've made space for buying groceries and work and cleaning the house, etc. And so that particular simple act of writing it down and seeing it really shifted how I approach that self care. So the planner dashboard kind of serves two purposes for me. It organizes my life and it also reminds me that I matter. I'm a person who needs things written down. That's true for groceries, paying bills, making phone calls, cleaning the house, whatever it is I need to do, my work, my church projects, meeting up with girlfriends. If I don't write it down, it's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So this planner really gave me structure. Without something written in front of me, self care kind of becomes the thing that I'll tell myself that I'm going to do, and then it never happens. And so, this dashboard makes it easy because I don't have to rely on my memory. It's not about me motivating myself. I just see it, I do it, and I check it off. I made a plan in advance. And so, I look at my planner several times throughout the day. I don't carry the full planner with me. I just pull out the pages that I need and I have them on my desk and then I refer to them throughout the day and then I put them back at the end of the day. And that's a rhythm that kind of helps me to stay focused because it keeps the things that I need to do in front of me. And so what I've noticed is that when my self-care is written down, I'm more likely to follow through with it. Same thing with everything else in my life. And when I follow through with it, I'm less tense. I'm less overwhelmed. I transition well from work to my evening, and then I feel better, mind, body, and spirit, because I'm releasing the cares of the day. I'm releasing the stress of the day. And so when I don't have a system of writing things down, self care is just optional. It disappears, it just doesn't happen. I'm more stressed. My body's tighter. I don't transition into my nights well. So planning, it may seem like something really simple, but it really is preventive care for me. And so this isn't about perfection or rigid rules, but for me, it's about awareness. The dashboard helps me to stay aware of my body, of my needs, and it also helps me to prevent burnout because I'm caring for myself on a regular basis and I can prevent being overwhelmed and burned out. But what surprised me most about this weekly dashboard is that it not only helps me to manage my time, but it helps me to manage myself. It's a reminder to me that, Muriel, you matter. Self care matters. It's not something extra. It's not something that I can't do. It's something that is necessary, but it is a reminder that it's necessary. So sometimes the support that we need, it doesn't come in the form of something new or fancy or grand. It might be something as simple as a planner dashboard, something very simple, something that helps us to remember that we matter. For me, writing self care in my planner helps me to stick with it in my real life. Um, I just didn't expect that to happen. And so I'm grateful for it.